Welcome back to Autism Live. We've been having such a good time today, and it's only fitting that we end the show. And we're going to run a little late. I'm just going to tell everybody that right now because we've been running late. But one of my all-time favorite guests when we do, especially when we do Festival of Toys, Brian Turtle from Endless Games is joining us. Brian, I can't wait to see what you're wearing.
Oh, okay, great. It's the Christmas Star Wars shirt.
Okay, we're waiting until I can see you. I haven't seen you yet. Is he there? Look there. Oh, I love the Star Wars. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's not an ugly sweater at all.
No, it's a festive way to say that I like Christmas and Star Wars.
There you
So,
go. I absolutely love it. Well, I like Christmas and Star Wars, but I love Endless Games. Can I
me
just
too.
say that?
Thanks.
And we have been in love with Endless Games forever. At the start of the show, I was talking about how important it is to play board games and interactive games with your family and include your child on the spectrum. And you have the full line of craziness that happens, and every year we're able to find more things that we fall in love with. So I'm gonna start by featuring some of the things that we have in this year's toy guide. But maybe you should tell us where they can find Endless Games as we get ready to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Endlessgames.com is the most obvious location. You can find Endless Games on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can buy some of the games that we're showing here today. They're all available on Amazon.com. They are also available on EndlessGames.com, so whichever way you decide to go. You can also find our products. Some of them are in Barnes& and Noble stores. All the local mom and pop shops. We definitely support the Independent Toy Retail Association and those smaller toy and game stores. So we encourage folks to remember to shop local and not just always go out to those big box stores. I think there's such a nice more sense of family and community in those independent toy stores, and we're proud to be part of those.
Well, and they should be proud to have your toys because they're amazing. So, what do you want to start with? Let me ask you, which toy do you want to start with from this year's
Well,
award winners?
I want to lead with kind of a showstopper. The floor
Okay.
is lava.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that's what I've got in front of me is the floor is lava. And you know what's really cool is that our last guest, right as she was leaving, and we were taking and putting everything out on the desk, she said, "Oh, the floor is lava! I love that game. That's a great game." And we were like, "We
Yeah.
know." So,
It's something. It is amazing the resonance that this game is having, and it's something everyone has done. I did it 40 years ago when I was growing up in Philadelphia, where my friends and my sister and I we would traverse the living room by going from the couch to the recliner to the coffee table to the dining room chair, all because the floor was lava, so we were not allowed to touch the carpet. So it's really that version of this sort of homegrown game has evolved over the course of the last however many years. And so what we've got here in our version, also featuring my kids on the back of the box. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention
are those
those two
your kids?
kids. Yes, the two girls are, yeah.
Oh, how
Uh,
lovely.
so what we do now is instead of having to jump all over the furniture and risk breaking your neck by sliding off the coffee table,
Right.
is we give you all of these foam at playing stones, and there's 25 of these in the box, different shapes and sizes. Some have question marks, some don't. And scatter those all over the room, and you say 3, 2, 1, the floor is lava, and everybody hops onto a different colored mat. And from then on, we use our trusty spinner here to determine what the sea color is. So if I land on yellow, then everybody's going to hop to the closest yellow tile. And we are staying off the carpet and staying off the floor, which is lava. And after every spinner, we remove a tile from the floor. So it sort of has chairs element to it. And that the tiles get fewer and fewer, and inevitably there may be fewer tiles than there are players, and some of the players may have to fall into the lava. We also ran the possibility of falling into the lava by those tiles that have the question mark on it. We have cards that have different challenges that you have to do while you do not touch the floor, such as swirl around like a ballerina, or hop like a bunny, or move from tile to tile until you've landed on every available color. So we're giving you additional physical challenges that may knock you off the same tile and into the lava. And it's just sort of a last player standing sort of a game that everybody has played a card game, at some point in their lifetime. And we just wanted to make it a safe way to do it, a way that inspires active play and
Okay.
not going to be sitting still.
Well, this was a no-brainer for us, and for sure award winner in this year's guide. We played this with a group of kids, and we had so much fun playing this. But the things that they were working on while they were playing it that they had no idea that they were working on. I mean, from huge gross motor skills like being able to hop from one place to another place. We saw kids that physically weren't able to do something, and then we started playing this game, and miraculously they were able to do it, right? But that they were also learning their colors. They were learning different distinctions of things, right? Because some of the cards say things like move to the closest unoccupied green tile. So we got to talk about when somebody else is standing there that that's not unoccupied, right? And what's the closest green tile, and so on and so forth. So it was super duper fun. The kids were having such a great time. It says here that at the ages 5 to 105, and I will tell you that, I was playing and we had kids that were 5, 6, 7, and 8, but we had 2 3-year-olds who were playing, and they were playing with each other, and they had a little extra support to play, that they had a mom that was helping them to play and showing them which tiles to go to, and they were having a blast too. So I love this game. I love all the things that it works on. One of the things that I love about your younger board games, Brian, is that they involve a lot of movement. And for kids who have attention issues, sitting and playing a board game and moving a little piece around the board is not where it's at. They need to be moving their bodies, and this is a great game for those kiddos. Something's constantly happening, and then they get to move, and then there's something silly that they have to do. It's really smart. The Floor is Lava is a hit.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it as much as we do.
No, the joke that we made on the video that we did is that we don't love it, we lava it. So anyway, what do you want to go to next?
So let's talk about Everybody Knows.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And this is for ages 12 and up, although again, like most of our games, sometimes the age range isn't always, limiting. You can certainly play this with an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old. But the questions are things that we would expect anybody, maybe ages 12 and over, to know. So hence the name Everybody Knows. It's roughly about 360 cards, all of which have 10 general knowledge questions on them. Things that you should know, like what is Clark Kent's superhero alter ego?
Superman.
Exactly. Or where does the Pope live?
At the Vatican.
There you go. Okay, so things like this. Like, here's one. What letter comes before J?
Oh, now I'm going to have to, H-I-I. Right, yeah.
It's I. So it's all these questions that everybody knows, hence the name. And what the real hook of it is that you're trying to get all 10 questions on the card answered correctly in 60 seconds or less.
Wow.
So when you add this little plastic piece right here, this sand timer creates something that's so simple and all of a sudden adds a layer of tension that suddenly you can't remember what letter comes before J.
Right.
Or you don't know what kind of animal the lizard is. And so these are all questions that everybody knows, but all of a sudden when you incorporate that sand timer,
right.
It's almost like, I think about it like everybody's got all the answers in their mental filing cabinet, and you have to pull the right file, find the right folder, and all of a sudden when someone says, hurry up, find it now, it becomes, you get fast, you have to sort of try to process the information and think about it, because you do know the answer. It's just about getting it out before the 60-second timer comes out.
So I think for kiddos that are on the spectrum, I think that if you've got teens that are on the spectrum and you need to play a family game, that this is the game to play. Now, one of the things that we did with some of the kids that needed a little bit more support is we played as teams. And we extended the time to whatever it was that we felt was appropriate, so that it might be that you have to turn it over twice. And that added something for the other teams, because once it ran out, they were scurrying to turn it over, and that kept their interest involved in everything. But what we found is that working in teams with this is that the discussions that were had were so fun and so educational, because maybe mom knew what the answer to something was, and the son didn't know, and then it was, how do you know that? But the reverse was also true, that there were things that the kids knew that we found the parents going, wait a second, how did you know that? Oh, well, it's in this video game. So we love to take and modify, and one of the things that we've already done with this is taken it in the car to play. And so that somebody pulls out the card and even the driver can play, because you're yelling out the answer to a question. And the self-esteem that comes to teenagers when they get one of these right is super fabulous. So we really love it. The questions are great. They're not too hard. A lot of trivia games you get are just like so hard that the kids don't even want to play. But these are really accessible and builds self-esteem. Absolutely love it. And if kids are good enough at it, when you add the time element into it, as you said, it makes it that much more exciting. And then we're actually working on something called fluency. That fluency is when our kids can do things and recall things as fast as we need for them to do it. And that's a really hard thing to figure out how to work on fluency. This game is great to work on fluency. So that's Everybody Knows. Again, another hit, Brian. We love it.
Just one other thing.
Yeah.
I was just looking at one of these cards while you were speaking there, and this is just a perfect microcosm of how we tried to hit. We tried to have something for everybody on each and every card. So even if you listen to the first 5 questions on this card, you'll think like, oh yeah, my daughter may know that one. Oh well, my father may know that one, and my husband, my wife will know this one. So it really covers it all. So for example, on this one example card that I just pulled at random, it's what NFL football team plays in Baltimore, Maryland? The Ravens. What is
I would have said the Orioles. That's how remedial I am.
That's baseball, right? Right, same city. What is meteorology the study of? That's the weather. Here you get Michael Jackson did a zombie dance for which one of his big hits?
Thriller.
Very good. And then who does Shrek marry?
Fiona.
There you go. So I just pulled this one out and I thought, here's a perfect example where we've got sports, science, pop culture, animated cartoons, and really just sort of showcases how this game kind of covers on every concept and every category, so that everybody in the family is playing on an equal playing field.
And I love it because you can get the whole family involved. And so often people go, well, but I don't know what game and I don't know what they'll be able to do. This really can get everybody involved. Okay, so that's Everybody Knows. But then we move up to What Comes to Mind. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is a game that is basically about what comes to mind. There are how many cards here? 75 cards that have prompts on one side and photographs on the other side. So on the prompt side of the card, I may read, say, things that go bad in the refrigerator. Then everybody has an answer sheet like this, and they're going to write down the very first thing that comes to mind. I may say something that comes in an aerosol can. You're going to write down the first thing that comes to mind. We're going to go through the whole card that way and then reveal our answers. So if I say something that goes bad in the refrigerator, and I had written down milk, and you had also written down milk, you and I would score points because we match answers.
Love it.
So it's unlike a game like categories, where you're trying to have that unique answer.
Right.
And what comes to mind, we say it's the game where great minds think and score alike. So you will score the number of points based on how many people match your answer.
And, one of the things that we particularly loved about this was it, when we're teaching perspective taking, which is understanding what's going on in other people's minds, it's really hard to get other people to sit and talk about what's going on in their minds, right? It's that we loved when the movie Inside Out came out, and we were able to see inside people's minds. And what I love, this is like a board game version of it, because we sit there and play this, and so for instance, on my card, it says a famous battle. And so everybody writes something down, and even though the goal is that you match and high five, and you're like, "Ooh, we got points," it's very revealing what people write. It's a conversation starter, and it allows your kiddo who's on the autism spectrum to see, "Oh, I was thinking about the Battle of Saratoga, but somebody across the table wasn't." And just reinforcing that whole idea that what I think is not the same what other people think in a fun way is super fabulous. So that's why this is a hit for us. Plus you're teaching flexibility of thinking.
Well, that's what I was going to go to. The thing about it is, on that first side of the card, where everything's pretty straightforward with the prompts, you're kind of answering a direct question. You're trying to think of something specifically. But then on the flip side, that's where you have the photo round. And so this is a little bit more open-ended. So you don't just want to say a compact disc or a guitar. You want to write down the first thing that comes to mind without saying what it is on the photo. So in this example, it's a champagne cork. I might write down New Year's Eve. And if you matched me on the photo round, now we score double points. So the number of people who match answers, you times it by 2, and it adds to your total and can double your points quickly.
Well, I have a friend who saw the pictures on here, Brian, and she said, "Oh, those are the perfect writing prompts for me, for my students, that she wants to bring them in and put them on the board on her, she's got a projector that she can put everything up on the board and say, now write 2 sentences about whatever comes to mind," which is a great writing prompt. So we love this. You always make clever things and make super fabulous things. Now I see behind you, you have one of last year's award winners, Sleepover Party. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, this was one that I was just using it to build my Endless Games backdrop. Yeah, so Sleepover Party is another game that was very heavily influenced by my own 2 daughters. And it's a big spinner and 200 cards, and you spin for a category, and the category will either be work it, act it, or party. If I land on work it, I'm going to draw a card from the work it pile, and it's going to give me some sort of a physical challenge, something like pick up a pencil off the floor using your toes, or move a cookie from your forehead to your mouth without using your hands. So something more physical. The act it category, I will draw from the acted deck, and that's going to be a performance-based challenge. That'll say something to the effect of sing happy birthday to the player to your right, but sing it as an opera singer. Or recite the Pledge of Allegiance while holding your tongue, or something silly like that. That's kind of Sleepover Party worthy. And then the party category, we land on party. We draw the party deck, and that will be something of a team challenge where they say have a wheelbarrow race across the room, or any player with the letter T in their name has to act like a bunny. So that party category involves the whole group of people playing. And there is a point system in that these cards each have different individual point values. You're trying to get 10 points for your opponents. But really, this is a game that's about the fun that you have doing each individual challenge or activity, and it really is the whole kit and caboodle of a sleepover party, all up in this box to break out at your next level party.
It was a huge hit last year for us, and it was featured in our toy guide last year. So we've gone over, but Brian, is there anything else you wanted to talk to us about? Because we love Endless Games.
No, we love you guys too, Shannon, and we appreciate you having us on this time of year every year. I'm going to have to reload all my Christmas shirts. I think we've gone through all of them over the last several years. But
Yeah, I just ask that people check us out online. Like I said, they can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, all the social media channels there, and to check us out at endlessgames.com, and to go to their local toy store and ask for the Floor is Lava or the Sleepover Party game
Yes.
or what comes to mind, and we can all sort of help build this thing together.
Super fabulous games. Check out the whole line of games. You won't be sorry. They always come packaged well. Uh, everything about Endless Games is done well. So we really appreciate, and you don't use a huge box when you don't have to. So truly wonderful. We thank you guys so much. It's not the holidays until Brian Turtle has come and been on the show. So we have officially kicked off the holidays. All right. Thank you so much, Brian. We just love you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Likewise.
You take care.
You
Bye
too. Happy
bye.
holidays.
Happy holidays.